This is Duarte. I've lived here all 21 years of my life. Heck, I was even born here in my family's rinky-dink log cabin. I just popped out of my pioneer mountain woman of a mother. But that's all you need to know about me. Duarte is a fairly unassuming place, but it has a certain je ne sais quoi that I am trying to c'est quoi à comprendre. I realize that many people, including myself, know very little about this place, so I think it's about time to educate myself on the history of our little town, and hopefully, I can pass that on to you. If you're not familiar with Duarte, it is one of the 31 cities in the San Gabriel Valley. It is boxed in by mountains, the San Gabriel River, the Santa Fe Dam, and various pit mines in Azusa and Irwindale. So, unlike most of the valley, where there is characterless urban sprawl, Duarte has a clearer sense of geographic boundaries. There are a little over 22,000 residents concentrated in 6.7 square miles, of which 3 square miles are actually inhabited. That means that Duarte holds about 1.7% of the valley's population and land area. But how did we get here? In the beginning, that's a little too far back. We'll just skip to the natives. And, won't you look at that? The Spanish entered the San Gabriel Valley in 1769. Soon after, Mission San Gabriel Archangel was erected. The Spanish called the surrounding natives Gabrielino after the name of the mission, but many now refer to themselves as Tonga. Finally, we get to our first central figure. There was a little lad named Andres Avelino Duarte who popped out of his mother somewhere in San Juan Capistrano. Mexico gained independence from Spain in 1821, and little Andres decided that would be a great time to join the Mexican military at the age of 16. He became a major domo at Mission San Gabriel and was assigned to protect mission property from San Gabriel to San Bernardino. Along his fairly relatable commute from the Inland Empire, he fell in love with the foothills of the San Gabriel River, which was at that time known as the Azusa. Thus, upon his retirement from the army, he requested 6,595 acres of land, which reached from parts of Azusa to Arcadia. That's like this much land. Duarte was illiterate, so his friend petitioned the governor on his behalf. Thus, Duarte donned the title of Don and became Don Andres Avelino Duarte of the Rancho Azusa de Duarte, not to be confused with Don Corleone. Remember how I mentioned that Duarte was illiterate? This is the cattle brand that he designed and registered. It's meant to be a lowercase d thing, I don't really know. I'll put it on the fridge right here. I appreciate your effort. Next time, write it in uppercase letters. Now let's go get some ice cream. He built his estate somewhere on what is now Tocino Drive and ranched into the sunset. They say part of his adobe abode was incorporated into the cellar of one of these houses. Won't you look at that? The world keeps spinning and the U.S. declared war on Mexico. In 1848, they signed the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, which ended the war. Now California was part of Freedom Land. But Don Duarte was not having a very good time. Now that he was under the management of old Uncle Sam, he had to confirm that he owned his land. Also, due to back taxes levied against his property, legal expenses, and other expenses, Duarte had to sell off his land one chunk at a time. He was able to prove the ownership of his land in 1858, but due to additional proceedings and the involvement of the Supreme Court, he didn't receive his confirmation until 1878.
Yippee. I get to keep my land.
But there was one teeny tiny issue.
In terms of land, we have no land.
Duarte lost his land 16 years prior because he was unable to pay his mortgage. And he was already dead. And his son also died. So, yeah, kind of a bummer there. Well, now for the people that bought the land. One of the plots of land fell into the hands of a Dr. Nehemiah Beardsley, who created the first school in Duarte. He also liked laying down the pipes for irrigation of the crops. If you went to Beardsley Elementary School, this is who it's named after. Another large tract of land was sold to a certain Louis Leonard Bradbury from Maine. He set up his country home on the northwestern end of Royal Oaks Drive, where the Royal Oaks Manor currently stands. The land was good, and the settlers experimented with planting citrus trees, avocados, and a few other things. Most of the land was turned into orange groves. The land produced great oranges, and Duarte became known as the Queen Colony after winning first place in the 1890 State Citrus Fair. The Norman estate even boasted a Valencia orange tree that was 37 feet tall. Dude. That's like massive. But when me have orange, what to do with orange? You ship them nationwide, of course. Duarte has always had the Santa Fe Railway, which runs parallel to Duarte Road. It was built to ship oranges off to people who didn't have oranges yet. The corridor still exists and is now part of the Metro A line that runs to downtown LA. Now, for all you walkable city nerds who glorify streetcars, Duarte used to have one. They were called red cars. In fact, the recreational trail was originally the Pacific Electric Railway track, and the wooden pylons are supposedly the railway ties. Even though the tracks no longer exist, you can still see evidence of their path. Do you recognize this bridge? Bradbury built it so that he could easily access his home without crossing over the tracks. The bridge over the San Gabriel River was also originally a bridge for the red cars. It's called the Puente Largo Bridge. Did you know that? I sure didn't. Here's a photo of when it flooded and was destroyed. Here's when they repaired it. The bridge is still operational as a pedestrian path into the no man's land of Azusa. You can still see where they had to repair it. Anyway, no more streetcars. Go cry about it. I'll be crying about it. Me. But. What, little Jimmy? Why is it called the City of Health and not the Queen Colony? Well, little Jimmy, I'm glad you asked, and I'm very proud of you for paying attention. We are called the City of Health because of tuberculosis.
Everything is tuberculosis.
In 1913, the Jewish Relief Association started a tuberculosis sanitarium south of Duarte Road. This is now known as the City of Hope Medical Center, which is renowned for its cancer treatment and research. 17 years later, a group of Carmelite sisters founded the Santa Teresita Medical Center right behind this strip mall. They're doing what at the mall? Just kidding, the hospital came first. What's that rumbling noise? It appears to be something that's moving itself. An automobile of sorts. In 1926, the federal government commissioned Route 66, which ran from Chicago to LA. It went through the center of Duarte on what is now Huntington Drive. It increased the viability of trucking across the U.S. and led to the growth of the motel and restaurant businesses in Duarte. Just watch Cars, it explains Route 66. After World War II, many returning soldiers decided that they wanted to start a family in California, which led to a massive housing boom. Duarte has always been divided roughly into Upper and Lower Duarte. And then there's Upper Duarte, which is actually Bradbury. We'll get there when we get there. Due to geography, Upper Duarte tended to be where the larger estates and orange groves were located. During the post-war housing boom, the land was rapidly sold to home developers. It created an odd pattern of the occasional large, unique property surrounded by many small copy-and-paste homes. Many of the workers lived in Lower Duarte. A notable spot of this area was called Rock City, which was a predominantly African-American community. And from what I heard, there were a lot of rocks. Seems like a great place to build a dam, and a freeway, and an industrial park, and... Oh, well, we kinda ran out of places to destroy. While this was going on, the neighboring cities began to incorporate and eat up the unincorporated Duarte territory. Duarte did not have a high school, so Duarte students were sent to the Big Bad Mad District High School in Monrovia, not to be confused with the capital of Liberia. This is when a certain Otis Gordon stepped into the picture. He was instrumental in bringing sewer lines to Duarte, and he supported bond measures to build a new Duarte high school. When the proposal was shot down 3 times, he threatened to boycott Monrovia businesses unless the bond measure passed. Finally, Mr. Gordon got his way. He also opposed the annexation of Duarte into Azusa. The unincorporated portions of Duarte started to think, "Oh, maybe we can into civilization." And with that, Duarte decided to incorporate and became a city on August 22nd, 1957. I repeat, this was 1957. That makes Duarte younger than the first computer hard drive. But things didn't pan out so smoothly. Some residents from Bradbury, remember these guys, decided that they were special and petitioned to become a separate city. Some say that the petition from Bradbury arrived in Sacramento mere moments before Duarte's. All we know is that Bradbury was registered as a city a mere 27 days before Duarte. You don't want to be friends? Nah man, it's cool. We share custody of a school district and a few other things, but Duarte annexed Royal Oaks Manor in March 2025. Yeah, buddy, take that. We get to keep the Bradbury property. Ironic, eh? Yes, somehow specifically Royal Oaks Manor remained unincorporated until 2025. Go figure. And won't you look at that? Someone found Duarte's old brand design and decided that it would make a pretty cool city seal. And on top of that, he corrected Duarte's only flaw. He made the D uppercase. Still backwards, though. Kinda looks like a cantaloupe with a devil's tail. I love it. We'll put it right on the fridge, and I'm proud of you too. So they started posting the logo everywhere, and they even slapped it on the side of the mountain so that you can see it from the freeway in all its glory. There are several other notable Duartians. William H. Lancaster, who was also instrumental in the incorporation of Duarte, joined the state legislature and petitioned for the extension of the 210 freeway past Duarte. He also requested the inclusion of off-ramps, meaning that Duarte would not be entirely passed up. Kinda unlike what happens in cars. Because of that, this section of the 210 freeway is named after him. The most notable Duarte historian was Aloysia Moore. She was a proponent for improving the Duarte Library. After her petition for a new library building fell flat, she started a book club that included the wives of the most prominent men in Duarte. Through her tactics of domestic persuasion, the city council finally decided to construct the current library building. Other notable achievements include the election of the first African American mayor in the San Gabriel Valley, and the first woman to be admitted to a Rotary Club. The Supreme Court was involved in that case. In conclusion, why am I telling you all of this? What I wanted to convey is that Duarte is a very small city that has historically punched above its weight class. It has a lovely walking trail, a good number of parks, a world-class medical center, and several other sizable businesses. The city also operates a public gym and pool, which has added to its prestige as a city of health. But along the way, some things were lost. Notably, Aloysia Moore lamented the development of Duarte from a tight-knit rural community to a bedroom community. The Metro A line and surrounding freeways have enabled residents to commute to other cities for work. That system has kept the bills paid for residents, but that technical issue of zoning, among other factors, has made it difficult for local businesses to be successful. Fortunately, it remains a moderately walkable city, and walkable cities tend to foster happier communities. Additionally, human-scale infrastructure, opposed to car-centric infrastructure, tends to have the added effect of reducing infrastructure costs per resident. Really, Duarte is in a good position to lean more on that opportunity, which would help foster that close-knit feel that made it so beloved to begin with. An elephant in the room is the City of Hope. It has come a long way since its start as a tuberculosis sanitarium. These days, it is internationally recognized for its contributions to cancer research. This relationship between Duarte and the City of Hope is so close that it often feels like Duarte is part of the City of Hope and not the other way around. Despite that, when I talk to my friends from Pasadena, all they really have to say is, "Oh, Duarte, isn't that where our Walmart is?" Well, shoot, you got me there. For its part, Santa Teresita became a full acute care hospital in the 70s, but in 2004 the government mandated higher nurse-to-patient ratios. Due to its inability to keep up, they were forced to close their intensive care unit. This brings us to an important dilemma. In the pursuit of improving medical service, we have been stripped of medical service altogether. Ultimately, the unintended consequences of state legislation has damaged Duarte's reputation as a city of health. Another external issue are the pit mines of Irwindale and Azusa. They produce a lot of dust. Additionally, these Vulcan mines have closed off easy access to the Fish Canyon Trailhead, which is a historical recreational spot in Duarte. Compounding that issue, it has been closed since 2016 due to fire damage, with no real timeline for reopening. As you can see, Duarte has a good deal of charm. I describe it as a hidden, or maybe hiding, giant of LA County because it has, at times, had national and local impact, but has never been so inclined to draw too much attention. With that, I hope you learned something new about my little hometown, and for the few of you who were aware of its existence before this video, I hope you gained a little bit more appreciation for our hidden giant. Thank you, and have a nice day.